My name is Algimantas. I represent Creator on this planet and to this planet as his ambassador and apostle of Jesus and his partner, Creator Daughter in Abadonia. I train spiritual teachers, the future spiritual teachers. I set up the living temple and the living religion of revelation. Its name is the Paradise Trinity I am living temple and living religion. It's not the precise word that I set up this living temple. Actually, I was asked by Creator himself to establish this living temple and religion of revelation. So that's why I carry out this requirement on the part of Creator to me. We have just completed the worship service of Creator. I speak out the living word of Creator during the worship service. Between the two prayers, the first one, the worship of Creator, and the second prayer is the petition prayer. So I consciously separate these two because the worship prayer is filled up with the top frequency vibrations within our spiritual personality, because we are not asking anything from Creator. There is no even the shade of some selfish desire to ask for anything from Creator, so that people would not confuse the worship with an ordinary petition prayer. I separate the two by my living word of Creator. That usually, might be said as the teaching presented by Creator through my lips. Today I also want just to render more or less this very same living word of Creator in English, already after this worship service. It is impossible to lead humanity without having a spiritual teacher. Therefore, I was asked by Creator to train future spiritual teachers, as currently all the religions, which are split into a great multitude of different sects, all the religions are split into sects, so that the mother religions that split into these multitude of sects cease to exist at all. There is no mother Buddhism religion anymore, no Islam as mother religion, and no Christianity as mother religion anymore. Only sects, and they usually use the same sources, say books, which they call sacred, even though they are not such. But they do consider they are sacred, holy. And then they use different rituals. And these rituals, they are material and they separate one sect from another. And in this case, they have their own leaders. So spiritual teachers are necessary just to show the way how to discover Creator within, not somewhere in a church building or in a holy place or in some monastery. No, within oneself. That is, the personality can discover Creator within, because Creator has bestowed His Spirit on the mind of each personality. And plus, Creator has given this eternal gift, our own personality, which is spiritual. But the absolute majority of humanity live in illusion. They consider that all this life is reality. It is not. It is illusion. Reality is Creator, who is the source and center of evolution. Currently, evolution that has been designed by Creator is completely distorted, and humanity does not develop according to Creator's evolutionary plan. So that's why representing Creator on this planet and Jesus and his partner Nebuchadnezzar as their apostle, I train spiritual teachers just to open up your spiritual eyes so that you would be able to look around yourselves by your spiritual personality eyes, rather than by your mind of the animal origin understanding. And that's why your character is dominated by vices, covetousness, greediness, aggression, revenge, lie, selfishness. Domination of others, exploiting others. So these are vices. They are not virtues that Creator has given as an eternal gift to each of you in potential of your personalities, which is spiritual. So the virtues are the truth, justice, goodness, beauty, mercy, love, wisdom, sincerity, cosmic insight, and even your ability to discover Creator within once you are given the vector, direction, how to achieve this sort of a target, and explained by a spiritual teacher. So today, as I commune with Creator, with Jesus and his partner Nebuchadnezzar, and receive their revelations and record them, and I publish books of their revelations, teachings. So this is the book by Jesus Christ. I speak to you again. I speak to you again. He spoke 2,000 years ago, but people misunderstood him, even his apostles. That's why today he is speaking to us again. It's already the second edition with the supplement. This is the first volume of Creator's revelations. A blink of eternity. No, I made a mistake in trying to translate the title of the book. The eternity of a blink. That's the correct translation of this Revelation book, volume 1. The eternity of a blink. The second volume, Gyvoji tyla, the living silence. The third volume of Creator's revelations, the love might, or the might of love. And the last one, freshly published, You are within me, or you are within. Tu manyje. They're all in Lithuanian. By the way, the first edition of Jesus Christ's Revelation book, I Speak to You Again, has been translated into English and published in English, and as well into Spanish, and I saw it on internet translated into Korean. So these are the Revelation books that you should study. You should study and apply in your daily living, because these are the books telling humans how to submit oneself to the leading by Creator from within and live everyday life together with Creator for the benefit of all, for the well-being of all. And this is the epochal revelation, the Urantia book, that I translated into Lithuanian from the original language, English. It's an enormous book, 2,100 pages, and plus 50 pages of two contents. So this is the original, the Urantia book in English. It's an enormous book. These 2,100 pages. So this book reveals us what is Creator, how He is operating in creation, how He is emitting energy, and out of this energy, everything is produced, manufactured in creation. Even suns, stars, planets, architectural spheres, living beings, they are all different transformations of Creator's energy, because everything, absolutely everything in creation is out of Creator's energy. Only different forms and of different frequency of this Creator's energy. Now, if you look up at the sky, and if you look at the Milky Way direction, this is the way you're looking at the dwelling abode of Creator, Paradise. But the immense distance does not allow to see the dwelling abode of Creator. The more so, I was given the revelation by Creator when He took me into space. And I was flying in space, being directed by Creator Himself, holding me by the shoulders and turning me one way or another. And I saw what a marvelous universe of different nice colors. And when He was trying to turn me left, I could not turn my head this way, my look this way, because the blinding light does not allow me just to look at that direction. And I was told by Creator, so this is my dwelling abode, but you cannot even turn your eyesight because you are too material. You need to develop your spiritual personality identity that would adequately have much, much more expanded vision. And in the course of this, you should accumulate a lot of different experiences. And by this, you will get prepared for entering His dwelling abode, Paradise. And for this all eternal journey, there will be spiritual teachers to explain, well, theoretically, what is around, how to deal with others in this ambience. And then we should apply this knowledge in practice, in brotherhood, cooperating rather than competing. And together with Creator Himself within, we are going to work for the benefit of all, of the whole of creation. So, this super universe, which is just one of the seven, currently makes up one grand universe, circling around Creator's dwelling abode, Paradise. But in the outer cosmos, in the outer space, now there are hurricanes of enormous energy, burning energy. And this is being now encircled into nebulae. And from one nebula, it is possible to originate up to 100 million stars, suns. And just imagine, Creator's suns as primal force Paradise organizes manage to circle this sort of Creator's powerful energy into the circular nebulae. That is doing a personality. So that's why to get to Paradise, we have to undergo myriads of different worlds. Here, a multitude of spiritual teachings, apply them in practice, pass through the examination system, And for this we need spiritual teachers. Right now, on this very first planet. That's why I am currently the spiritual teacher to humanity, to all religions, to all races. I'm representing Creator. You should pay attention to my words. Now, I want to tell you about Machiventa Melchizedek, who incarnated in the human flesh 2,000 years prior to our Creator Son's arrival on this planet, as the helpless baby born out of the material woman's womb, as the identity of Jesus of Nazareth. So, Machiventa Melchizedek, he appeared as a fully fledged, grown-up man, close to the city of Salem. Salem later turned into the city of Jobus, and still later was renamed to Jerusalem. So he was teaching people just to preserve the idea of one God, because the absolute majority of tribes tended to profess a great many of different goddesses and deities. And he wanted just to preserve just one God. And he presented his teachings and gave 7 commandments. So I'll read. First he stated, I believe in El Elyon, the Most High God, the only universal Father and Creator of all things. Second, I accept the Melchizedek covenant with the Most High, which bestows the favor of God on my faith, not on sacrifices and burnt offerings. And third, I promise to obey the 7 commandments of Melchizedek and to tell the good news of this covenant with the Most High to all men. So now, what were the 7 commandments? First, you shall not serve any God but the Most High, Creator of heaven and earth. Second, you shall not doubt that faith is the only requirement for eternal salvation. Third, you shall not bear false witness. Fourth, you shall not kill. Fifth, you shall not steal. Sixth, you shall not commit adultery. And seventh, you shall not show disrespect for your parents and elders. That was 4,000 years ago, or 2,000 prior to the appearance of Jesus on this planet. Look around today. How we developed our own civilization and our own personality identity, just to embrace one another as our brother in spirit. That brotherhood would dominate the humanity. That cooperation would dominate all competition. That peace would reign within humanity. That family would flourish with Creator within and living for the benefit of all, the way Creator is leading each member of the family from within. Do you see this sort of humanity? Or any society in any state currently on our planet? Nothing of the kind. Even 2,000 years later than Machiventa Melchizedek, Jesus presented his own gospel. The fatherhood of man, the fatherhood of God, and the brotherhood of man. Is there brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God today in humanity? Everything in isolation, in division. No moral virtues anymore. There is almost anarchy anywhere. Exploitation is dominant power in both political issues, economy, society, even within a family. Because there were no spiritual teachers. People without a spiritual teacher tend to distort even the spiritual teachings that some generations did hear from the spiritual teachers of the past. They distort these things to suit their own selfish purpose. That's why these teachings have been recorded, that it would be, much more difficult to distort. But of course, if there are no spiritual teachers who might present their own spiritual teachings being received from Creator and spoken out through their lips to people at large, all the same, even these books might be, used as a center, but they might introduce certain rituals. And then by these rituals, they would differ one group from another, and this would lead again to isolation. And that happened many a time in the 1 million history of humanity on this planet. So that's why this is one more attempt by Creator to restore its evolutionary course to the original design of Creator to humanity, according to his evolutionary plan. That's why it is so important just to recall Jesus' request. Love one another as I loved you. As I loved you. And Jesus loved all, irrespective whether they were pagans or Jews. That's why I continue the mission of Jesus and even the mission of Machiventa Melchizedek. And I say, the fatherhood and motherhood of God, Creator, the Paradise Trinity I am, and the brotherhood of humanity, and even of the whole of creation. And Creator is living, and He is within each of you. And it is possible to discover Creator within. And I teach people how to discover Creator within. That's why, after you discover Creator within, you do know you have discovered Him within. It's like you found certain thing you have been looking for, and now you know you have found it, and you use it. The same is in spiritual matters. One's experience is the biggest and strongest evidence and argument. This is true, and this is the truth. And these sources is also evidence and the truth of Creator's living existence. Therefore, I received them from the living Creator, being His living Son on this planet to assist humanity. Assist to wake up in spirit and operate in spirit together with Creator within, discovered within, and for the benefit of all. That's simple. But the way to this simplicity is hard because you don't see this way. You cannot touch it. Everything is within your own spiritual personality. And once this spiritual personality is waked up and springs to being, this person shall never take a weapon to annihilate the so-called enemy. There are no enemies. It's the illusion that has been, well, in the strict sense of the word, promoted and advertised by politicians, by banksters, and even by exploiters, businessmen, selfish. Economy shall be based on Creators leading from within and operation in brotherhood, in cooperation. Political issues would be solved in peace, not in war, by cooperation as brethren, having the same one Creator, the Paradise Trinity I am. Family life shall be firmly standing on Creator's foundation, discovered by each member of the family, discovered within. And love shall last for generation upon generation. There would be no divorces, because people shall love one another within each family. And the family meeting will discover a new tinge. Train their children as brethren of the parents of this family, are the children of Creator, and training them while raising them as Creator's sons and daughters, so that they would continue within their families this very same tendency to leave a better environment than they have received from their parents. This is the evolutionary plan by Creator, to leave a better environment to the future generations than received from the previous generation. Ponder my words. My teachings are meant not to surprise your mind, but to help you open up your spiritual personality and apply the assertions you hear in your everyday living with Creator, discovered within and operating under Creator's leading as co-creators for the evolutionary plan of Creator being implemented according to Creator's design, but depositing one's own personal impact on this evolutionary plan of Creator.